guys, welcome to Foodie Gardening. I'm back in the kitchen again this week. It just hasn't stopped raining. And over the weekend I went to 2 potato days. It isn't necessary to go to 2 potato days, but if it's pouring with rain, they're quite a pleasant way to pass the weekend. So the first one I went to on Saturday was Shropshire Organic Growers. Both potato days were fairly similar in terms of potatoes. Shropshire Organic Growers had maybe more of an emphasis on organic varieties, but there were some varieties that were non-organic. They were also selling their herbs. They had some fruit bushes and a whole selection of seeds, again some organic, some non-organic. It was a really fun day, and as you may know if you've been watching the vlogs, earlier in the week I'd gone to my first ever Shropshire Organic Growers Society meeting, and so I'd met a lot of the people and it was a really nice atmosphere. They also had a great stall which was selling homemade cakes and there was homemade soup, so it was a really fun day and I could have picked up everything I needed just from there. But on the Sunday I went to the Shropshire Potato Day, which was at Harper Adams. Now this is the one that I went to last year, and I was actually filming there that day for one of the organisers. So that's the first time I've actually done that. I took my camera and got some really nice shots of the day, like a bit of the atmosphere, and in return for doing that I was paid in potatoes. So I saved off my shopping for the second day because I knew that I was going to be able to get some there. The Shropshire Potato Day also had a great selection of potatoes. Possibly it had more potatoes actually. There was also a stall outside that was selling burgers. Inside there were a few other bits for shopping. There was a lady selling alpaca wool and different things that have been made from alpaca, and there was jams and cheeses, and both events also had Shropshire Wildlife Trust there, so they were talking about wildlife conservation in your garden and a lot about birds as well. Shropshire Potato Day probably had a stronger emphasis on things for kids to do. There was a lot of free colouring sheets and different bits and pieces to do with potatoes that were free, stickers and that kind of thing that you could pick up. There was also a really interesting display that had little bits of information about the history of potatoes. Similarly, there was some of that stuff at the other day too. I mean, all in all, potato days are quite similar. If you're looking for one to go to, either would be fine, maybe whichever one is closer to you. So I thought I'd show you what I picked up. From the first potato day I picked up these Anya potatoes, and I just got 4 of them and they were 15p each. I'm hoping to be able to chop them in half. I really don't want to grow as many potatoes this year because I grew far too many last year, and also we've had potatoes coming up just everywhere on the plot. So this year I'm going to grow the potatoes in bags at home just so I can really clear out the plot and make sure that there's no potatoes in the ground because I don't want any rotting and re-sprouting in there. My mum is also going to split some pink fir potatoes with me, so I'll have some of those. And I also got 4 of these potatoes which are Bonnie. Possibly I'll split them, I don't know. And these ones were good for baking. That's the nice thing about when you go to the potato day. They give you a sheet or a booklet with every variety of potato, and it tells you if it's got a good resistance to blight and a little bit about growing conditions, and then it also tells you what it's good for, so whether it's good for chips or mash or good for baking potatoes, salad potatoes. So it's really interesting if you don't know very much about potatoes because you can figure out exactly what you need, and the choice is not so overwhelming if you've got an idea of what you want to use the potato for, like the end game, what are you going to make with that potato. We also picked up 2 of these salad blue. They're quite large, those ones are. We really liked the purple potatoes last year, just kind of for the novelty of them being purple inside. It made a really interesting looking dish, so we went for 2 of those. Now the other things I got are peas and beans, and these were £2 for a half pint cup, so you just scooped up your half pint. And I've already given my mum quite a lot of these and there's still loads left. So these ones are Scarlet Emperor. These are runner beans. So I also got Blue Lake. These are French beans. Those are the same ones that we grew last year and we had a really good success with them, only I left them in the greenhouse to dry out and then the greenhouse roof smashed, so I didn't save as many beans as I wanted to. So I thought I would get some more of those, and as I said, I've already given a lot of these to my mum. You get an awful lot in a half a pint. And I got broad beans. These ones are called Crimson Flower. And the very last thing I got were Kelvedon Wonder peas. Again, I grew those last year and we had a great success with them, so I thought I would get some more. I know over the weekend just gone there was lots of potato days about the country, so I'd be interested to know if you went to one or where you get your potatoes from. And it's not just potatoes at these events, there was lots of bulbs as well. Lily bulbs was one that I saw quite a lot of, and there was some asparagus plants too. I'm just not quite ready to put my asparagus in yet, so I didn't want to buy it just now, but you could have got everything sorted for your garden for the season. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully if it's dry I will be back on the plot next week. See you.